Greetings to all movie buffs. Welcome to the Film Focus channel. We hope you enjoy our content, and please remember to like and bookmark.
Decoding the Beekeeper, the psychological trajectory from agent to Avenger. Overview. The Beekeeper is an action thriller film directed by David Ayer and written by Wimmer. Starring Jason Statham, Emmy Raver-Lampman, and Bobby Naderi. The film tells the story of a seemingly ordinary beekeeper, Mr. Clay, played by Jason Statham, whose life changes dramatically when his neighbor Eloise commits suicide, revealing his identity as a former secret agent. Identity, and his brutal revenge, to uncover the truth. Story plot. Mr. Clay leads a seemingly peaceful life, but his past is deeply entangled with a secret society called the Beekeepers. When it is discovered that Eloise's death was no accident, Clay begins his journey of revenge to uncover the truth behind it. His actions not only revealed the dark side of cybercrime, but also implicated the Beekeepers organization that was believed to be disbanded. In the film, Clay not only has to face his past, but also deals with the conflict between his personal life and his mission. The Beekeeper is a thrilling, action-packed suspense film that delves into the murky world of revenge, betrayal, and cybercrime. Jason Statham delivers a riveting performance as the mysterious and ruthless Mr. Clay, while David Ayer's masterful direction immerses the audience in a suspenseful and high-octane drama. In a world of risky action. With its riveting plot, strong performances, and gritty cinematic style, The Beekeeper is a must-see for fans of action thrillers. The film's narrative hinges on bizarre scenes and mind-boggling action, often unintentionally veering into humorous territory due to the absurdity of its specific sequences. Main character. Mr. Clay, played by Jason Statham, a complex character who appears to be an ordinary beekeeper, but is actually a former secret agent. Eloise, Clay's neighbor, whose death becomes the trigger for the entire story. Beekeeper leader, played by Jeremy Irons, the mysterious leader of the Beekeepers organization and Clay's main rival. Theme and style. The film delves into the themes of revenge, betrayal, and cybercrime, with action and suspense as its main style, and is full of exciting plots. However, the film's handling of the narrative and action scenes seems a bit exaggerated and unrealistic, resulting in the story not being tight enough at certain moments. Part 1, In-depth analysis and expansion of the plot. Introduction, the hidden past and the quiet life. Dual identity setting. At the beginning of the film, Clay is portrayed as an ordinary small-town resident who loves beekeeping and lives a peaceful life. But behind this tranquility lies his identity as a former agent of the Beekeepers organization. This contrast adds a layer of mystery and tension to the film. The importance of the small-town background. The setting of the small-town Oak Haven is very critical. It is not only the place where the story takes place, but also symbolizes the past that Clay wants to escape, but cannot get rid of. Main conflict. Behind Eloise's suicide. Triggering event. Eloise's suicide is the catalyst for the entire film. This incident prompted Clay to begin suspicion and investigation, and gradually uncovered a series of conspiracies. The driving force of plot development. In the process of Clay's pursuit of the truth, the audience gradually learns about his past and the secrets of the Beekeepers organization, a process full of suspense and twists. The road to revenge. Changes in psychology and action. Depiction of inner struggle. Clay's road to revenge is not only an adventure in action, but also a psychological struggle. He is torn between justice and revenge, which reflects his moral dilemma and inner conflict. In-depth analysis of the motivation for revenge. The movie deeply explores the underlying reasons why Clay chooses revenge, not only for Eloise, but also for his own inner reconciliation and reckoning with the past. Climax and conflict. Revenge and the limits of morality. Demonstration of moral dilemmas. In the process of pursuing justice, Clay constantly faces moral choices. The movie deftly shows his struggle between revenge and remaining good in his humanity. Decision-making in the climax. In the climax of the movie, when test of his personal morality. Part 2, Character and Performance Expansion. Clay's character analysis, the portrayal of a complex character. Depth of Jason Statham's performance. In The Beekeeper, Jason Statham not only showed his iconic tough guy image, but also delved deeper into the psychological level of Clay's character. He skillfully incorporated deep emotional fluctuations into Clay's reticence, making the character more three-dimensional and real. Presentation of the inner world. Statham successfully conveyed Clay's pain, struggle, and determination on the road to revenge through delicate facial expressions and body language. His acting skills allow the audience to feel the inner conflicts and changes in the character. The importance of supporting characters. Character analysis of Emmy Raver-Lampman and Bobby Naderi. The influence of Emmy Raver-Lampman's character. The character played by Emmy serves as Clay's emotional support and moral guide, and has an important impact on his psychological trajectory. Her character demonstrates strength and compassion, providing moral guidance and emotional comfort to Clay and being a key factor in his inner change. Bobby Naderi's role interpretation. The role played by Bobby Naderi more reflects the true face of small-town life and the kind side of Clay's humanity. His presence not only adds layers to the plot, but also adds a more human dimension to Clay's character. Part 3, Director and Production Style Expansion. Director David Ayer's perspective, a fusion of action and suspense. Use of narrative techniques. David Ayer demonstrated his unique narrative techniques in The Beekeeper, cleverly blending action and suspense elements. He not only pays attention to the thrills of action scenes, but also makes full use of suspense elements to promote the development of the story, allowing the film to maintain a high pace while not losing layer and depth. Ingenuity in plot construction. Ayer worked hard on plot construction and carefully designed every turning point to ensure that action and suspense are intertwined, providing the audience with a tense and unknown movie-watching experience. The visual style of film, special effects and visual expression. Innovative use of special effects. The Beekeeper excels in visual effects. The movie uses advanced special effects technology to not only make the action scenes more realistic and shocking, but also handles the details very well when showing high-tech equipment and explosion scenes, enhancing the visual impact of the movie. The uniqueness of the visual style. Ayer's use of color, light and shadow is very distinctive. He creates a tense and suspenseful atmosphere through the contrast of warm and cold tones and the clever use of light and shadow. The visual style of the film is not only for aesthetics, but also a strong support for emotion and plot. Part 4, Expansion of Theme and Meaning. Individual and Society, the boundary between revenge and justice. The intersection of revenge and social justice. The Beekeeper deftly explores the delicate relationship between personal revenge and social justice. The film shows how Clay, driven by personal revenge, gradually uncovers a larger social issue. This setting triggers the audience to think deeply about the boundary between personal action and social responsibility. Exploration of conflict and balance. In the film, Clay's journey of revenge is not only a response to personal pain, but also a fight against social injustice. In this process, although Clay's actions are in the name of justice, his methods and consequences are often placed in a moral gray area, making the audience think deeply about the boundary between revenge and justice. Morality and humanity, the protagonist's moral choices and inner struggle. An in-depth analysis of moral struggles. Clay's road to revenge is fraught with moral dilemmas. While pursuing justice, he had to face the moral consequences of his actions. This inner struggle is masterfully depicted, embodying the complexity of good and evil in human nature. Demonstration of the test of human nature. The film not only focuses on the results of the action, but also explores Clay's psychological changes in the process of revenge in depth. In the process of revenge, he experienced from anger and hatred to final understanding and forgiveness. This process is a strong shock to the audience about the depth of human nature. Part 5, Social and Cultural Impact of Film. Reflected social issues. Reflection of social issues. The Beekeeper is not only an action movie, but also a reflection of many current social issues, such as cybercrime, moral dilemmas, conflicts between personal and social responsibilities, etc. Through a tense plot and complex character relationships, the movie shows the ubiquity and complexity of these issues in contemporary society. Audience response and impact. Audience reaction. The Beekeeper has sparked widespread discussion among audiences since its release. Many viewers appreciated its profound themes and exciting action scenes. It symbolizes the surface calm and the hidden storm. Enhancement of the theme. The symbolic elements in the film also reinforce its core themes. Clay's reclusive life in a small town symbolizes his attempts to escape his past, while his path to revenge symbolizes the pursuit of justice and the resolution of inner conflicts. Social commentary. The role of film as social commentary. Reflection of the real world. The Beekeeper is not only an action movie, it also profoundly reflects multiple social issues in the real world. For example, by showing cybercrime and organized crime, the film reveals the complexity and pervasiveness of these problems in modern society. Depth of social commentary. The film provides insightful commentary on the real world through its story and characters. Clay's journey of revenge is not only a personal one, but also a protest against social injustice and moral dilemmas. Every turning point in the film reflects a deep meditation on justice, morality, and personal responsibility in modern society. Part 8, Detailed Analysis and Expansion of Psychological Trajectories. The psychological roots of revenge motivation. Personal loss and psychological trauma. Clay's deep psychological motivation for choosing revenge stems from personal loss, the death of his neighbor Eloise. Not only is this a reaction to the loss of someone close to him, but it triggers reflection and guilt about his past actions as an agent. Sense of justice and moral responsibility. Clay's revenge is not only driven by personal emotions, but also stems from his desire for justice and moral responsibility for injustice. This motivation for revenge makes his actions go beyond personal grudges and rise to resistance against social injustice. Psychological interactions between characters. The confrontation between Clay and the villain. In the movie, the psychological interaction between Clay and the villain is extremely complex. This is not only reflected in direct confrontation and strategy, but also in their psychological prediction and reaction to each other's actions, forming a tense and layered psychological game. Clay's interactions with supporting characters. Clay's interactions with characters played by Emmy Raver-Lampman and Bobby Nardelli show a more human side to his quest for revenge. The existence of these characters not only provides emotional support for Clay, but also affects his decision-making at critical moments, reflecting the kindness and complexity of human nature. Part 9, Expansion of Plausibility and Credibility of the Plot. The Logic of Plot Design. Coherence of storylines. The Beekeeper shows good coherence in the treatment of multiple storylines. Starting from Clay's personal revenge, it gradually unfolds to involve broader social issues. The plot progresses layer by layer, and each turning point is closely linked, making the whole story reasonable and fascinating. Logical challenges. Although most of the plot makes sense, the movie has logical weaknesses in some details, such as some overly coincidental plot arrangements and sudden changes in characters. These minor flaws somewhat affect the overall believability of the story. The balance between reality and fiction. Reflection of real life. The movie strives to maintain a close connection with real life when showing real social problems such as cybercrime and organized crime. By delving deeply into these issues, the film presents the complexity and diversity of the real world. Reasonable use of artistic processing. Although some scenes and plots in the film have been artistically processed to enhance the viewing experience, respect for reality is generally maintained. While maintaining the appeal of the story, the director also took care not to over-exaggerate or distort reality in order to maintain the story's credibility and audience resonance. Part 10. Expanding the connection between the film and real society. Mapping of real-life problems. Depiction of cybercrime. The presentation of cybercrime in The Beekeeper is not limited to superficial criminal behaviors, but also explores in depth the social and psychological motivations behind these behaviors. This reflects the growing network security issues and the importance of personal information security in real society individuals in the face of injustice and crime. This represents the struggle of many people in real society between justice and self-protection, and reflects the complexity of morality and law in modern society. Reflection of cultural values. Dialectics of justice and revenge. The themes of justice and revenge shown in the movie triggered the audience to think deeply about these two concepts. The Beekeeper challenges traditional notions of justice and suggests that in the context of modern society, justice may require more complex forms and understandings. The relationship between the individual and society. Clay's story is the epitome of individual action and social responsibility. Through his actions and choices, the film explores the role and responsibilities of individuals in society, reflecting the tension between individualism and collectivism in modern society. Part 11. Expansion of key plot analysis. Analysis of key turning points. The discovery of Heloise's suicide. This plot point is the catalyst for the entire film. Eloise's death not only inspired Clay's motivation for revenge, but also revealed a series of deeper conspiracies. The handling of this incident demonstrates the director's skill in creating a tense and suspenseful atmosphere, while laying the foundation for subsequent stories. Clay's investigation. Clay's investigation is a slow reveal that not only advances the story, but also demonstrates Clay's ability and determination as a former agent. The various challenges and dangers he encounters in his investigation provide the audience with a series of tense and exciting plots. Final confrontation. The climax of the film is Clay's direct confrontation with the villain. This scene is not only the pinnacle of action, but also of emotion and story. Here, Clay faces not only his enemies, but also his own inner fears and contradictions. Plot and character development. Plot drives psychological development. Every key plot point has an impact on Clay's psychological development. From initial shock and disbelief, to anger and determination for revenge, to final conflict and acceptance, Clay's psychological trajectory is closely linked to the development of the story. Reflection of character growth. Through these key plots, the audience can see Clay gradually transform from a person living a peaceful life into an Avenger determined to fight for justice. His every decision and action shows his character development and psychological changes. Part 12. Expanding the symbolism of action scenes. The interaction between action and psychology. Action scenes as a reflection of psychological state. In The Beekeeper, every action per blend of complex character psychology and action scenes. Jason Statham's acting and director David Ayer's directorial skills make this film stand out among action movies. In addition, the in-depth discussion of revenge and justice in the film provides the audience with not only visual enjoyment, but also spiritual touching. Profound themes. The Beekeeper successfully handles the themes of revenge, justice, and morality, making it not just an action movie, but a work with profound connotations. Depth of the character. The depth and complexity of the character of Clay, along with the wonderful performances of the other characters, add a multi-layered feel to the film. Technical excellence. In terms of technical aspects such as photography, editing, and sound effects, the film shows a high level of production standards. Improvements. The film's shortcomings. Although the film excels in many aspects, it is slightly lacking in logic and coherence in some plots. Some of the characters are underdeveloped, which may result in the audience not being emotionally invested in them. Plot continuity. Although much of the plot makes sense, the film may have handled certain details and turning points too quickly, affecting the overall coherence of the story. Depth of character development. Some supporting characters may need more background and development to enhance the audience's emotional investment. Balance of reality and fiction. In the pursuit of tense plot and shocking action scenes, movies may sometimes sacrifice reality. Compare movies of the same genre. How The Beekeeper compares to films of the same genre, compared to action thrillers of the same genre, such as the Mission Impossible series. The Beekeeper explores themes of personal revenge and social justice more deeply. Although the action scenes may not be as shocking as some big-budget movies, the psychological portrayal of the characters and the depth of the story are even better. Part 14. Expanded implications for the film industry. The fusion of innovation and tradition. Contribution to action movies. The Beekeeper demonstrates a successful blend of innovation and tradition in the field of action movies. While maintaining the usual tense rhythm and exciting fights of action movies, it introduces profound characterization and complex storylines, injecting new vitality into traditional action movies. A new style of suspense movies. In terms of suspense, the movie sets a new standard for suspense movies through complex plots and escalating suspense. It shows how to keep the audience interested while still making them think deeply about the plot and characters. The role of film as art and medium. The importance of artistic expression. The Beekeeper demonstrates the powerful expressive power of film as an art form. Through visual effects, plot construction, and character development, the film successfully conveys complex emotions and profound themes, showing that film is not only an entertainment medium, but also a transmitter of emotions and ideas. The role of social commentary. Films play an important role in exploring real-life social issues. It not only provides a visual representation of real-life issues, but also triggers audience reflection and discussion on these issues, demonstrating the potential of film to make social commentary and inspire public dialogue. Part 15. Personal reflection and future outlook expansion. Personal reflections. My feelings after watching the movie. After watching The Beekeeper, I deeply felt the ability of a movie to convey deep emotions and thoughts. Clay's mental journey and complex emotions in the movie made me think deeply. At the same time, the wonderful action scenes of the movie also provided me with an exciting viewing experience. Inspiration for thinking. This movie triggered my in-depth thinking about justice, revenge, and moral dilemmas. It challenged my understanding of traditional notions of justice and made me re-examine the meaning of individual actions within a social context. Expectations for future movies. The evolution of action and suspense movies. The Beekeeper shows how action and suspense movies can get into people's minds. I look forward to future films continuing down this path, perfectly combining deep themes and emotions with intense drama and action. Diversified development of films. I hope to see more films that, like The Beekeeper, can entertain audiences while also stimulating their thinking and discussion about important social issues. As a diverse art form, film should continue to explore new modes of expression and themes. Conclusion. The long-term significance of movies. Place in film history. The Beekeeper has a unique place in film history. It is not only a well-made action suspense film, but also a work that has a profound impact on artistic expression and